us here have a cell phone? Well, to many of us, our cell phones have become a necessity, and we are constantly using them. I'll admit it, I'm constantly scrolling through my Facebook, Instagram, and other social media sites. Every hour, I'm updating my emails and checking for new ones, seeing if those college acceptances are there. Regardless, the integration of technology into the palm of our hands has allowed for more easy access to the World Wide Web. But on the other hand, they can be a pain in the butt. But when looking at the totality of cell phones and technology, there are regulations imposed on us. I don't think I would want a stranger going through my phone. I don't have anything to hide, but it's my personal phone. It's my privacy. This brings to light how our government protects and inhibits our privacy. How are we so sure our government isn't watching our every move? So it begs the question, is our right to privacy a threat to national security? And I believe our right to privacy should not be a threat to national security. And to examine this, I will be talking through 3 points of analysis. First, how we've gotten to the point of surveillance. Next, how the NSA has been unsuccessful, and how our current society views our right to privacy. The 9/11 attacks have raised conflicts between protecting individual privacy and protecting our physical and digital infrastructure. Congress created the Department of Homeland Security with unprecedented power to collect, correlate, and act upon mountains and mountains of digital data. Government and law enforcement officials say this level of monitoring is necessary to protect and prevent against terrorist attacks. However, privacy activists counter that such deep data mining is an unjustified invasion of personal privacy. It undermines our civil liberties and erodes long-standing constitutional provisions that protect our right to privacy. After the 9/11 attacks, the American people and the United States government were fearful of other terrorist attacks. However, the rushed measures the government passed in the wake of chaos during 9/11 allowed the government today to overstep its bounds into our right to privacy. Moving on, has the NSA actually captured terrorists? According to newamerica.org, the NSA's bulk surveillance of phone and email communication records have been claimed to be used to keep the United States safe from terrorists. But these claims are overblown and misleading. An in-depth analysis of 225 like-minded individuals recruited by Al-Qaeda and other groups demonstrate that traditional investigative methods are far more superior to the NSA's methods. Traditional methods include the use of informants, tips from local communities, and targeted intelligence operations. And in totality, these provide the bulk of evidence for investigations in the majority of these cases. But on the other hand, the contribution of the NSA surveillance programs to these cases was little to nothing. In addition, the surveillance of American phone data has had no significant impact on preventing acts of terrorism. Now, our government may claim that these measures are necessary, but our phone calls should not be a priority when defending national security claims. Now, when looking at these arguments, you may ask, if I have done nothing wrong and I have nothing to hide, why should I care about any of this? Well, let's keep in mind that the definition of wrong can quickly change or be interpreted differently. And if you don't know what the law actually really is, how can you say you're so sure you've done nothing wrong? If you really truly believe you have nothing to hide, then post your social security number online and also toss in your credit card information. Leave your door unlocked open at night and see how that sits with you. This shows that we know that we have a certain amount of privacy, and we should be able to decide what our government collects from us. The very idea that I've got nothing to hide is a distraction. People tend to forget that our government should not be able to impose this form of surveillance upon us. The Fourth Amendment guarantees our right to privacy. The Constitution does not ask if you want or need that right. It grants it to everyone and demands that the government interfere with it only under specific circumstances. In the wake of the exposure of 2 classified surveillance operations, most Americans expressed disapproval about the United States government collecting phone records of Americans. A majority, 57%, said the current surveillance programs do not have an effect to prevent future terrorist attacks. According to a CBS News poll, nearly 6 out of 10 Americans said they disapprove of the federal government's collection of phone records of ordinary Americans in order to reduce terrorism. This shows how our society disagrees with these methods and how the NSA's programs are not helping with the government's rationale behind these operations. So when we look at these arguments presented today, we have a right to privacy, and it's been shown that the NSA's investigation into surveillance have failed. It is important to realize what rights we have as Why are we so subject to the mass amount of surveillance that our government imposes on us? We are not a society that works like a machine, and we cannot be restricted with these methods the government puts upon us. That is why we need to become more aware of what our government officials push forward in their agendas for the sake of our nation and for our country. The citizens of the United States should be more aware that we have the power to change our government. Our government should be able to reflect our beliefs, and the Constitution should uphold the foundation for those beliefs. Therefore, when looking up at the points brought up today, we have proved we have a right to privacy. Traditional methods have far more superior benefits than using the current NSA surveillance program. These programs were swiftly passed when a mass amount of chaos rushed throughout the United States. In addition, the American people disagree with our government surveillance and need to check upon their disinterest when facing our right to privacy. And that is why we have a right to privacy, and it should not be a threat to national security. Thank you.